Yeah, it's Will and Audra, we in this to stay. Ball Python life, watch us lead the way. Climbing year by year, bringing our best, creating content, man, we never rest. Started from the ground, now we making a name. In the Ball Python gang, we in for fame. Bridging gaps for the new and the vets. Mates are in the fam, gotta place your bets. Educating the masses, spread the knowledge for real. Each scale tells a story, that's the deal. Not perfect.
Get yours today.
Yo, what is going on? Thank you guys for hanging in there. Everybody that's in the comments, welcome to the show this week. A little under the weather, so I'm gonna put some pressure on Darren this episode. He's gonna lead the way for the most part, but this is gonna be a real fun episode. We're gonna hopefully talk about some really cool stuff, dealing with some different genes. Hopefully you guys are interested in as well. Right off the bat, what's going on? K and D definitely need to start working on bringing them back onto the show. Very interested to see where their focus lies now on what has changed from where they originally started. Cold Fusion, part of the Flawless family here. Anybody wanting to join in on the channel, you can join the membership here. We're getting ready to have some really fun giveaways, and I'm not talking about just low-end stuff. We're really going to make it very interactive, very engaging. We also have a Discord, so you're going to want to come a part of that membership. It's going to be really fun. What is going on, Infinite? The other homie. I can't wait to see you again, man. Yeah, it's good people, man. And look, they already talking about the gene already. Already talking. So we're probably going to start off right out the gate, dealing with, the Bambino gene. So I'm very interested in just what's going on. By the way, it's coming up. We already seen Mr. Cheeks over here doing 15 minutes of lane. So, hey, Flawless is in it this year. So we are going to do our best to be as inclusive and have as much fun as possible this entire time. We run this show bi-weekly. We may throw a monkey wrench in there, here or there, and add another show. Depends on our show schedule. We also have a lot of things going on with Flawless Crested Geckos for our biggest sale week of the year, which is our Black Friday week event. We normally post about 200 geckos, so it's going to be crazy. But we're going to do something fun for Flawless Exotic Creations this year. So stay tuned, hit that subscribe button to stay informed about everything we have going on there. Been talking with Darren about bringing him on to be a part of our POM, and we'll do back and forth on POM. We're trying to stay, motivated to keep pushing the content. So where we at? Nikki, what's going on? If you guys are not subscribed to Irresistible Pythons, you need to go over there and follow Nikki. They have a phenomenal channel on IG as well as here on YouTube. Yes. And we just won a t-shirt today. That was really awesome, really cool. So that was fun. We may copy that and do something similar to that here.
Yeah, you should give away hats.
Oh, yeah. Darren been killing me. I got you. Darren doesn't even have one of the Flawless hats.
No.
Day one. I got you. All just in the comments. Bro, I don't want to be the dead horse, but I never thought that I wouldn't have any time to myself. I don't have time to be sick. It's that crazy.
Yep. Unless you have all the animals and everything.
Very important.
You got geckos, you got snakes. You got other animals that are furry creatures.
Yeah. And then it feels like the better you do, you have more decisions to make, right? You pass whatever thresholds monetarily and you feel like you're doing well. Well, the issue with being a business owner is like you want to buy back your time. So, money isn't everything. You want to buy back your time, but where do you set that bar, right? Do you wait for 100,000? Do you wait for 150,000? Whatever the number is, because if you hire someone on and they're full time, you're going to give them over 50 grand, and then you're back out. It's very, very confusing when you're going to walk that entrepreneurship lane.
You guys still got that pot-belly pig too, huh?
Don't remind me. His name is Roscoe.
Roscoe Pico Train.
Crazy, man. I can't believe her and this pig. Absolutely ridiculous. But while I continue to go through the chat, keep throwing those comments in there. If you have any questions, throw the questions over there. We'll make sure we ask Justin. But without further ado, we need to bring him out so we can rock and roll.
Bring him out. Bring him out.
How's it going?
Yeah. So right out the gate, before we jump into the genes and the genetics, we already did our sound check, everything. We cleared everything up in the back. We couldn't rotate. I'm sure people are going to ask about rotating the camera. We couldn't rotate the camera this round. We tried. But ask your questions and we'll make sure that Justin, can definitely deal with them. But tell us a little bit about Ozark and yourself.
So me personally, I got into reptile. Well, I've kept little various reptiles, growing up, between fire-belly toads, and I had an iguana growing up. But the rule growing up was no snakes. So my dad wouldn't allow any snakes or anything like that in the house. So when I graduated high school and got out on my own, the first thing I did was get a snake. And I was in the military at the time. I went into the Army for 3 years right out of high school. So I was keeping him in my barracks room. So I had to hide him, because at the time you could keep anything that literally you could live in a 10-gallon fish tank. That was the rule, 10-gallon fish tank. So I got him in a 10-gallon fish tank, felt a little small. So I got him a 20-gallon long, and I just hit him every room inspection. So that was the original start of the obsession. And then fast forward to 2018, I attended my first reptile expo, and that was where I kind of got a taste that, holy crap, there's a whole world of people doing this. There's people doing it full time, making a living off of, arguably just breeding reptiles, which, I mean, it's work, but if you love it, it's not work, So it was just kind of crazy to me. So I started buying up animals then, and then had my first clutches the end of 2019 into 2020, because I bought a bunch of babies, bought some babies to grow them up. So it took almost 2 years for me to see my first offspring, and kind of just collected animals and dibble dabbled between, a few different species. I wanted to do bearded dragons and geckos and ball pythons, and got a pet monitor and just a few odds and ends. And then about 22, I started taking it serious and started buying a lot more investment quality animals, trying to pick up some nice adults for what you could in that time frame, and really hyper focusing on the ball python aspect. It's one of those things where I like everything, but I can't do myself any justice you're not going to get really good trying to do everything. You're not going to be really, really good at everything. It's just not going to happen. So I had a local friend of me who was pretty successful with the ball pythons, and seeing his setup, he had a nice clean, his garage was redone. It was attached to his house, but very, very clean setup with professional racks and stuff like that. He was making high-end stuff, a bunch of hypo puzzle stuff back in 22. So it was just, cutting edge, groundbreaking stuff. And getting a taste of that, to see that you can do it on a high end, and a tasteful, as long as you're tasteful with your genetics and you have somewhat of a vision, you can do it at a high level and make a good living, and, make a bunch of cool animals along the way and stuff. So that was my first taste of seeing that you could actually do this and it not be in a basement, all musty and crusty and just smell bad and all that it can be clean and done properly. And since then, my mind's just gone racing, and I've tried to slowly, like, now I'm in commercial warehouse space. So I'm blessed with a lot more space than most. Like, I have a full ball python room. I have a green tree room. I have a hognose room. I have a little gecko room for some leechies and stuff like that I like. But, fast forwarding from starting there to getting here, I would have never thought that I'd be at this point, especially at the time. I was working in the car business and I was making decent money. Most would say I was making 6 figures a year. So to think that I've been doing this full time now for 2 years, and it's not that I'm making a crazy living or anything like that, but my bills are paid and I'm happy. You know, I work a lot harder for myself than I have anybody else, but I've enjoyed it. You know, it's been a little over two and a half years, something like that. I've been doing this full time now, and dude, it's been an absolute blast. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, that's big.
How many ball pythons and other species do you currently own?
So I've been honestly kind of downsizing some of the ball pythons, just for the simple fact of when I got in, I got a bunch of stuff that at this point I have no business breeding. You know, it was kind of I want a little bit of everything mentality. So downsizing from there, I'm probably sitting about 250 breeders. Then plus some babies, and I've got some grow ups and stuff like that. And I've got 30 hognose or so, about 15 green tree pythons, and then I've got like 5 pair of leachianus, and then a couple pairs of crested geckos, and 1 trio of gargoyle geckos.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, nice little variety.
Definitely.
The so green trees and the hog nose, but like besides the ball pythons, that's my bread and butter. That's my passion driven. Most of my 10-year, plans and stuff like that with this hobby involve a lot of the ball python projects. Like I've got some really, really far-fetched dreams with these things. I'm not by any means the next year or even the year after. Like I'm at least 5 to 7 years on most of my projects, if not farther. Depends on the odds. We can get good odds, and then maybe I'll get it a little quicker, but you can also get really crappy odds, and nobody likes to talk about those, but you can get some really terrible odds.
I'm gonna let you know
that the hog nose and the green trees are just, I really, really like them. So it's something I'm just no expectations, but whatever happens, and I'm just really excited to see what happens out of those 2 species. All the new cow stuff is fun too.
Play
but
with
it's
your emotions.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it definitely will. Definitely will. Wow. So let's get started with the Bambino gene. How'd you come across it? How'd you get it? What's your whole plan with it? If you're willing to share with us, let's talk about it.
So originally I was looking, because I had my base recessive core in place, my hypo, my xanthic, my clown and krypton stuff that I like to work, and desert ghost, whatnot. And I just wanted something that would be more so of a instant plug-in that would just kind of spice up the projects I was already working. Between that, and I have my incomplete dominants that I like as well, between chocolate, spot nose, cypress, the mandarin stuff, and then now Bambino, of course. But I wanted something just to pump in that even in the simple form, a lot like how Stranger is and stuff like that, which I hate that Stranger got skipped over and it went straight into Stranger clown stuff, because nobody talks about how pretty just the Stranger is,
Right.
But I wanted something along those same lines that even in the base form was just breathtaking. It was very, very nice. So looking into it, I originally looked into Tornado and Cosmos, and Bambino popped up. So I was actually talking with the originators of all 3 projects about the same time. And the Cosmos, I end up not I love the look of it, but I end up not going with it because I couldn't get a boy. Tornado, absolutely love the look of it, but I end up not going with it because I couldn't get a boy. And then Bambino came along, and we worked something out on a pair. So I did buy a 1.1. I do have a female breeder as well. But I was able to work a deal out on a 1.1 and get a little boy here, and then a girl. She was about 600-700 grams when I got her in. And then that was part of the way through last year. And I was able to get him here and get him grown up. And then this has been my first year actually running that boy and seeing some offspring off of him. But right off the rip, I mean, I've seen some I've had kind of bad odds with stuff, but then I've also hit some really, really nice boys. So I got to be grateful with what I've got. I've got all the stuff to gear me up for next year. I just don't have a bunch of excess. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, with a project like this, I have to get my boys and stuff that I need in place. And that's going to be the only way I'm going to progress it, because I was able to hit a a Mandarin Bambino head hypo, and that boy alone is going to do, because I'm fond on the Mandarin stuff. I absolutely love the Mandarin stuff. So that boy alone is going to be able to plug a bunch of Mandarin stuff. And I also have the females for it. So next season, I'm going to go for Super Mandarin Bambino hypos and then different combos of that stuff. So be able to work that simultaneously while progressing the Bambino project as well. So
wow. Super Mandarin Bambino hypos.
Yeah, next year. I've got multiple shots too, so I don't want to, count my eggs before they hatch. But I've got if they're not super great odds, you're looking at 1 in 8, 1 in 16, 1 in 32, stuff like that to hit some of these Mandarin Bambino combos. But I've got multiple shots, so I should be, Lord willing, and the creek don't flood. I should get there, or whatever they like to say.
Did the Bambino take a little bit of the orange away from just in the single forms of the Mandarin?
No, not
at all. Has a light orange.
The Mandarin Bambino boy, he's looking good. Like, I'll get him out in just a second to show him off, but he's literally like that rusty orange color and then black.
Okay.
Like it's crazy. Like he's dark, but you can look at him and all he is that rusty hue, and then the blacks are just stark black. And that's not even visual hypo, much less doubling up on the Mandarin. So that's going to be an exciting route, because I'm also another route I'm excited to see is the exotic version of it. So from the founder Mills, we've seen the Bambino clown, and that's one of the first tests in the hobby is they want to see if it looks good in clown. Well, yes, it looks good in clown. So me personally, I love clown, but that's not the stuff that excites me the most, So I'm trying to go the exanthic route, eventually the true ghost route. I want to see the hypo desert ghost route's going to be good. And then even with the clown, I'm more of a Krypton person. So I love clown, but I love the versatility of Krypton. So that'd probably be the route that I'm going to be most excited to see.
Wow.
Yeah. Nikki said, just send that here.
Yeah. Yes. I gotta fingers crossed with some good odds and stuff. Next year will be the year. Like I said, I've let go of a few bits this year, but I've got to get my stuff first, Unfortunately, that's going to be the only way that I can make the really, really cool stuff for everybody. And I've got some of these projects in mind that I really need to see come to fruition. And the only way that's going to happen is if I just keep plugging along. Sorry, I can't be talking about some of the stuff,
A quick question on that. And I kind of think I may know the answer and I may be wrong. There's no right answer to it. If you were to hit that combo that we were just talking about for next season, right? And you only hit one and it's a male. Yeah. Is your first thought, I'm going to sell it?
Hell no. No, that's like the building block now. Like I've got crazy offers on that Mandarin Bambino head hypo boy, but we talked about pretty building blocks and he looks good. But in my head, I can picture the next step. And not only that, but the different combos. Sprinkle Hurricane on top of it, the Super Mandarin form. See it with chocolate, spot nose. I've got so many different blackhead. I think it's going to be incredible. So
and it's
I've
still
got so many directions that
so fresh.
The first combo that I like the most, like, Bambino by itself always looks great. But when I seen it with Hurricane, I was like, that's it.
It set it off. So originally looking at it, he had the boy that he offered me was a Bambino leopard. And it looked good, but I was like, man, well, to be honest, I was talking a little sweet to him. I was like, man, if I'm going to bring it into the States and I'm going to be the first guy here with it, I need something that, somebody looks at it and it just knocks their damn socks off. And he's like, well, I didn't want to let one of these go, but I hit 2 of these. And it's the Bambino Hurricane. I was like, no, that all day. That's the boy. And he's like, well, he's a little bit more. And I was like, I don't care. That's the boy. That's the one.
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm completely with it. The Hurricane does great. And I like also that you can see the Hurricane still. It doesn't obliterate it so much that it loses it, that when you throw the Hurricane in, it still has that uniform muscle arms down it. It's not super accentuated. And one other thing I've noticed is it brightens it a little bit. When you see Bambino Hurricane, it's a little bit brighter with the Hurricane than the base form.
That's crazy. Because Hurricane is pretty
I wish I still had the girl here. She actually sold about 3-4 weeks ago. She went to a new home, but I had a little Bambino Hurricane female, and she had like the darks were dark, but as far as her alien heads and dorsal pattern, it had a really, really gold hue to it, like really golden pattern. So it was cool.
Oh, I
Have you
wonder how
found
that
it
would look with Mandarin then.
very difficult to move some of your available stuff, or not at all when it comes to that project?
No, so it's one of those things that I've just not. I wish I had better odds and I could let go of more, but I have to tell more people no right now than I can tell yes to. It's just one of those, like I said, in order to progress, because I didn't bring that gene in just to, you know, make a few things and help everybody else make a bunch of cool stuff, which I want to do that down the road, but I did it because I have 5-10-year goals with this gene that I want to see plugged in with multi-recessive combos. So I have to get those in place. And of course, even when I hit my goal animals, those aren't what's available. It's my byproduct, but it's still, we talk about pretty building blocks just because it's one of, if I hit a byproduct next year and it happens to just be a Mandarin Bambino hypo, because I didn't hit the super form, somebody's going to do something cool with it, you know? So just because it's not my goal animal doesn't mean it's not going to be incredible, but I have to get my animals first. It's work, you know? If anybody's got in and you're trying to spread a gene out with one animal, plus everybody's breathing down your neck to make them something, like it can be rough, especially hitting bad odds, you know?
So with this project, since you're probably like one of the few people that have it in the States, are you going to turn around and let any males go, or are you going to hold on to the males and then sell the females?
So the males, that's the trick. I'm not opposed to letting a male go if it's an extra male, but it has to be just that. It has to be a male that I have no use for. That being said, I am, you know, uber confident in what I got going on in the direction I'm going to take things, that it's not going to be like the direction you would take it or you would take it. So I don't care to release males. It's just the aspect of having an extra male, and it has to be an extra. I can't have an inkling of a thought of something I could do with it. And if I can let it go, at that point, I'll let it go, but it has to be extra. Man, and unfortunately, I don't have much of those this year. I don't have much at all.
It sounds like I'm talking to myself, man.
It's bad, but I'm gonna think it sucks now saying no, but then you know, down the road when I get to hit all these super crazy goal animals that I have, and I have no doubt the project's gonna do like cool things. I mean, it looks too intense in some of these combos, and we haven't even seen stacked recessive combos, much less double recessive combos. So we're just scratching the surface of it, and it's all been great. I've been loving it all. So I don't doubt the ability to do well. It's just, again, I have to hold my stuff back, or then I get to sit back and cry while somebody else makes all these goal animals of mine.
Ain't that the truth, man? Oh man. And to throw it in there, when we say byproduct, it's just a word that we try to use to dress it up, because I say it as well. And sometimes, depending on how you receive the information, it can feel like it's a bad word, and it's really not. You're just basically saying like your non-holdback animal. There's nothing wrong with that animal. Nothing wrong with that animal. But when you're starting to talk about living and breathing creatures, sometimes people could take offense, and I understand that. But we're talking about also is building projects. You know, when you're building these projects and certain pieces that you need, you're going to have certain pieces that don't fit into your puzzle. Ends up being some of the byproduct, which could literally spearhead other people's projects. So it definitely could level people up. It's just literally, some people may see it as a good word, some people may see it as just a word, and then some people will see it as a bad word. So it's just like we're trying to please everyone, if that even makes sense.
So I had a good friend of mine put it to me recently, and the way he likes to put it is for his holdback animals. Now, that being said, everybody wants to talk about the way the market is soft right now. So that being said, this is a better time than any to have strict standards on ourselves for holdbacks. You know, and he was telling me for a holdback material animal, it's got to have at least 4 gene mutations. So whether, you know, if that's a visual recessive, that counts as 2, but then just an incomplete dominance 1, but it's got to have at least 4 relevant gene mutations. Now, that being said, also just because of a gene like Bambino, I don't need to slack on those standards. just because it's a hot new gene like that. Now I have to think 2, 3, 4 years down the road, and I'm going to thank myself for that I don't like relax my standards on the 4 gene mutation holdback rule. So certain things like that, to where you get a little bit more picky about the stuff you're holding back, the pickier about the stuff you're breeding, and it's going to show in the offspring. You know, people say that it's a soft market. It's not if the stuff is nice. I'll say that. You know, so if we get a little bit more picky, I'm not telling everybody to quit breeding or anything like that, but if you're a little bit more selective, and then you end up when we talk about, I use the word byproduct, but even if the craziest, you know, the lowest thing that you'll hit at the very lowest end of it is still somebody's leveling them up. That's the byproduct that you want to have, quote unquote, to where it doesn't necessarily meet my standards, but it would meet 80% of the rest of the hobby's standards for a snake, for a breeder, you know? So it's just having a little strict standards on this stuff, even with the new gene, because I've got, like I said, really, really high expectations. Some of the stuff's going to be long shots. And I mean, if I can hit just a fraction of it, I'm going to be happy. But, man, again, we're talking, I got to be my own best customer, because I've got too much planned for this stuff. I've got too many goals, you know, like one of my goal animals to see next year is a chocolate spot nose hurricane Bambino hypo clown. You know, so that's one animal that I want to see. That's next year, you know. So I want to see an allelic with hurricane, and then hypo clown is just, I'm hypo the world, hypo everything. But something like that, and then the stuff that I can do with an animal like that, the doors are limitless. Like, it's absolutely insane. I've got like 5 different ideas that come to mind as soon as I say the animal, you know. It's crazy.
Right. Do you have any regrets about picking up that gene, whether it was the cost, the amount you invested in it? Obviously the odds can always be better, but do you regret anything about that entire process?
No, not at all. The only thing that I regret is not getting it a year earlier and getting it ran, you know, a year sooner. So as weird as it sounds, the higher end stuff like that is a safe bet, you know, because you make these really nice combo animals and you're in a small pool, excuse me, but then you get a gene like that, or like Cosmos, for example. If you want Cosmos or Bambino or something like that, you're going to a handful of people, you know. So if you can do something to put yourself in that handful of people, you know, even like buying into Bambino or Cosmos now, you are still a handful of people. You know, people don't like, and you hear all the time, well, it's going to come down. Yes. Okay. Well, what does it come down to, from 30,000 to 15,000? So you got to make 2 of them. Like, people don't like to do the math on things, you know? Oh, well, that's just for boys. Okay. And your girls are still $8,000 to $10,000 then. Like, that's insane for a female.
Do the math.
You know,
so even if you bred that,
is going to come down, but then when everybody waits too long and then you hit that sub $10,000 mark, that's when you see the drastic drops, you know? And so it's one of those things, you get into where you're comfortable, but if you have a plan for something, like I said, you can get in at any point and do well. You know, look at the amount of people that did well with banana hopping in, and there were hundreds of other people with banana.
Jason Amos is the number one person. I've watched him go through every single one of those genes and spend 20 to 24 grand or 30 grand on those animals.
And he's been a guy that's taught me so much throughout all this getting in. He's been a real big mentor to me, because he's did it time and time again, you know, and getting in, it's one of those things to where I didn't, as far as like money aspect and stuff, I don't need nothing from anybody. I have a big facility. I have, you know, I can bankroll whatever I need to bankroll, but the experience that guy has and just able to get a second opinion on some stuff is worth its weight in gold. And that dude, like you said, he's been there time and time again. Scaleless Head, Banana, GHI, Stranger. It's been time and time again. And now, you know, the next thing, I was really it was a humbling thing when he reached out and was saying that he thinks Bambino's the next thing. You know, that's what he wants to hop into next, is Bambino. And that means a lot to me, because I see a whole lot in the gene. Like, it's really impressive to me, but that's the look I like, you know. But to hear from other people in the hobby, and not just a few people, but the vast majority of people I talk to love the look of that. You know, they love the look of Bambino and Cosmos and Tornado, that dark granity look. They love it. So that whole the market shifted from just a bright and clean to just a dark and gritty, and I absolutely love it, because it's more after my taste.
Yeah, definitely. Bang, bang, buy high, sell high, get out and come back when it drops low. Feel you on that.
No, I can't do that. See, I
I'm not
gotta.
going to, but I feel you. I understand.
But we
And,
talk about coming down as well. The stranger would be a good example.
oh,
So,
yeah,
like
perfect
right now, you
example.
could walk around and see stranger, like a stranger het clown male on a table for $200 or $300. Now,
Hmm.
that
Yes,
being
but
said,
think about how long it took to get there. Because what,
yes,
the
Yeah,
but I
gene
was going to
came out,
say
he had it
also
since
you can go
2012.
find you a $7,000 to $10,000 stranger clown just as easy.
Yeah,
Granted, it may
right.
yeah,
be a hypo stranger clown combo or something like that, but the
yeah.
high end is still out there. So, granted, over time it's going to drop, but you as a breeder should have enough foresight and plan to be plugging it around and plan for that. That the quality of your animals are going to
Exactly.
increase as the value's dropping. So
Absolutely.
theoretically, your value's
Yeah.
not dropping.
And I mean, it kind of came back and punched us in the face. You speak about stranger. We did the same exact thing. We imported two in, from the Netherlands. And I mean, we in this very short, lifespan here of just getting started, it's like, man, we had one die on us. And at that time, that was, a $13,000 animal, and we're talking about, again, it was 2 years ago. Getting another one pretty much a year and a half ago from the same source. Luckily, he didn't tax us the same amount, but we still had to pay and get it in because at the same time, it wasn't the breeder's fault. And we did the whole, like, take it to the vet, the necropsy, like everything. And they're like, the vet is looking at me like, hey, dude, you got a ball python and it died. And we're like, that's not just a ball python. And he's like, yes, it is. It's just a ball python. I'm like in tears, like, holy crap. But he had to double back and kind of execute on the plan. And for the most part, those situations aren't as common where you're just buying a snake and it's just dying. And, you can't, if you're having issues keeping animals alive, you're going to have bigger problems as a breeder.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was, few and far between. It just so happened that was one of the focus projects. Doubled back, got the pastel version of the sibling, the brother. And in that same project, just on that project, we're well in the black on that project, even after buying two investment males, and I sit and think about it, much how you were just starting off, Justin. I'm like, no true regrets at all. I just kind of knowing what I know about crested geckos and now about ball pythons, I feel like that first time around, even spending that first 13, I'm like, dang, if I could have scrunched together a little bit more money and doubled down and got two males, or, knowing how it works, not saying that I wouldn't have still went back and got that same exact one, but you could have had more teeth in the game, knowing that, and working in such a secluded area, because that male was a stranger double head clown puzzle male, and that's the male that got it. So
I know something Will can't breed. Will, you can't breed crickets.
Oh yeah, no, I can't breed no
You can't
crickets.
breed crickets. You can't keep those
12,000 crickets a week. Yeah, I can't breed crickets. Absolutely not. I
No,
don't have
and
the
that's
time.
one of those things though. But all this stuff, you got to take the licks as they come. It's all lessons, I say. So Bambino was in a time that things went well for me. I
Right.
made a complete gamble, and that's what stuff like that is it's a gamble. New gene, is it going to be something? Is it going to catch on? Are people going to like it? Are the combos even going to look that good? Because not that much stuff has been done with it. So it's basically all uncharted ground. Well, that was a time that worked out good. Well, one of my favorite projects in the hobby is the DG VPI stuff. And you'll notice I don't post much stuff as far as visuals go because I've got kicked in the balls over and over again with that project. From buying a $24,000 visual male that had spider, back when you couldn't find one of those boys, and I found a proven breeder male with spider, and I've yet to get an offspring off of him, a viable offspring. I've got slugs and everything but a viable offspring. But
I only know one breeder that was doing that.
And well, I'm not gonna name no names, but and then people say that you can't get, it's not the boy, the slugs aren't off the boy, but I well into double-digit females, and I've got everything but a viable offspring, so I'm gonna blame the boy.
Oh yeah,
But I got another one. He's up to size. He's doing his thing just in time for all the prices to come down, and
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. I still like the stuff, but my direction that I'm more excited about is the True Ghost route anyways. So, just link. I've done okay with Hypo Clown stuff, and, I've got some nice bases to gear up to do some pretty incredible stuff as far as the Hypo Clown, and then I'm going to gear that into the True Ghost stuff. So do True Ghost Clown and True Ghost Krypton combos with chocolate and spot nose and all that other good jazz. So.
Mm-hmm. True
Ouch,
Ghost
ouch.
is it. I love True Ghost.
Even Beast Morph says you can get slugs from the boy.
Well, see,
yeah.
everybody will tell me it's not off the boy, but I'm blaming this boy. So, like I said, at one or two females, maybe it's not him, but like I swear it was 15 or 16 girls, all slug outs. Didn't get a viable offspring. So it is what it is, and then the only thing that sucks with that stuff is it's years worth of setback,
Right.
So it's not like
Yeah.
something that you just, especially if the year sucks and you're like, well, I'll try it again next year. We'll see. We'll see how he does next year. And same thing. So then you're 2 years behind. And I mean, it's not a race, but 2 years is a long time. That's a lot of progress, especially if you do it right.
Yeah, I always say
especially
it's not a race, but you are racing yourself. So you are.
Well, just watch what I'll do in 2 years with Bambino, and then just imagine if you lose in 2 years. So that's the way I look at it. How much ground I can cover, but I don't know. You got to focus on the good stuff. That's the thing is, you'll hear me talk about the good stuff because that's what we need to focus on, because you get the good and the bad. But if you focus on the bad, then you'll probably see more bad. It's just you see what you focus on, I believe. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Especially in ball python breeding. When you
100%. Yeah.
Most of the time.
Can it get worse? Oh, it might. Keep saying
it can.
It
can.
Don't put that bad juju out there, because man.
So what in this process, before we move on to the next section, what have you learned from you going out and doing this import? And have you imported before this project?
Yes. So I actually brought in some ball pythons from Italy, and past that, I've imported a few things since then, because the guy I imported from, I had to get all my licensing because he wanted to import directly to me. So I had to get all my U.S. Fish and Wildlife licenses, like import-export permits and stuff like that. So I've done a little group from Indonesia, and then I've imported some ball pythons from Italy and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it taught me too terribly much. It was pretty cut and dry process for the most part. The only thing that it has taught me is don't be scared per se. If it's in the US, it's a lot quicker turnaround for you just to reach out to somebody in the US and get the animals to you. But if it's not something that's in the US, don't be scared to reach out abroad. There's so many nice animals and quality breeders, or just nice animals in general, that are all over the world, that the stuff can be different. It's stuff that we don't necessarily see, or if we see it, it's not in big numbers around here. So I just recommend, don't be scared. If you see something overseas that you like, go for it, and unless it's Bambino, and then just give me a minute, reach out.
Wait until I'm ready.
Yeah.
So, are you doing anything funky with DG, with Desert Ghost?
No. So I like the darker genes in Desert Ghost. So blackhead, black pastel, stuff like that. I do have this boy I picked up a little over a year ago that'll be breeding this year for me, and he's a pastel blackadder furrow. So it's kind of a different animal, and it's got that granite type look to it, especially in the uniformity from the adder. So I want to see that with Hypo DG, and then maybe throw chocolate in there as well. Excuse me. And then also got some Mandarin ideas for it. But I can't say I slept on DG because I have a decent amount of Desert Ghost, but I was laying more so into the Hypo aspect. I was getting Hypo when it was dirt cheap and everybody wanted the DG and the DG clowns. And, everybody was kind of talking shit about like, well, why you wanted a snake that always looks like it's in shed? And so I have Hypo in probably 80% of my collection. Now, that being said, I do have some Hypo DG stuff together. I mean, you laugh, but it's true. I mean, I get it. You know, they got that
Well,
look
no,
to
because
them, but
hypo is one of those genes that's got a bad rap for a long time, and it wasn't until
Yeah.
like COVID
yeah.
people started bringing it back. They used to call it the poor man's recessive.
Yeah.
This all kinds of names,
Oh, and
all
it was. I
kinds of
got so
names.
much of it for dirt cheap, man. That's like, and then it came back around. I'm like, dang. I mean, that's what comes with popularity is I
Yeah,
can't buy the
it
shit so
does.
cheap no more. You know.
Yeah.
It brought
But
it right back
it's
around.
starting to get a lot deserved credit, I believe. And then some of the stuff, you know, like the Mandarin, that stuff goes hand in hand with hypo. You know, I'm not saying you can't work Mandarin with other recessives, but that's a gene that you have to keep with hypo, you know.
It looked
So
good in hypo. So the first time I seen it was that Justin's. At
chocolate
first, me and Will were
hypo, I
like,
love chocolate hypo stuff. So a lot of my favorite genes just look absolutely stunning with hypo. And then I'll add Desert Ghost to it from there. That's ideally my goal world is to see the hypo and DG together. But
Mhm.
the DG stuff I do work, it's mainly throwing the dark aspect back into it and letting it brighten clean the dark side, you know.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bambino would look good in DG.
Yes, and so Bambino's a pretty stout gene too, so it'll clean it up some, but I don't think it'll be too much. I think it's going to look good. That'll be again shots next year. We'll see some Bambino DG next year, a hypo DG, Bambino clown stuff. Yeah.
What do
The
you want
only
to
recessive that I've missed that I'm trying to hit still is Xanthic, but that's should be in the works.
What would you
And by
try
that
to
I
keep
mean the eggs are
Bambino
cooking. I
away
just
from?
need good odds.
What would you try to keep Bambino away from, just on the front side before knowing?
So I'm not too big into the muddier type genes. I can't say pastel looks. The pastel's one I'd stay away from if I'm going straight clown with it. But I did hit a baby that crawled out of the egg, unfortunately, and died. But it was a pastel Bambino spot nose, and
Mhm.
that snake was absolutely incredible. You know, granted, it just crawled out of the egg and died. It's one of those kind of kicking the nuts from the season, but it looked incredible. It told me enough that spot nose and Bambino are going to look nuts. Even with the pastel, it looked crazy. So
Wow.
it may not be one of those ones I want to keep out, but just mainly the kind of the muddier genes, you know, the pinstripe, the champagne, the spiders, stuff like that. But past that, it's kind of fair game. You know, I believe every gene has a place in a combo. So even those genes, you know, Bambino champagne may be patterned as hell. You know, it may do crazy things to champagne. I don't know. I'm not going to work it, but those are just basically the boundaries I'm giving on myself is I don't want to keep anything too muddy. You know, I don't want any of the muddy genes. Past that, let's roll because it ain't been seen. You know, I just made a black pastel Bambino Hurricane Boy, and that was the first time black pastel and Bambino had been stuck together. A gene as popular as black pastel, that was a first.
Wow.
But how dark was it? Was it pretty dark?
He's pretty damn dark. He is pretty damn dark. I'll get him in a second. He was a finicky eater. So one tip I'll have for people, if you're going to shed test stuff, let them shed out in the incubator. Don't put them in the rack to shed out because they'll shed out in the rack and then you can test them, but then they don't want to eat. So my recommendation, just leave them I like 2 weeks after shed in the incubator. They come out like a week to 2 weeks. After that shed, they're primed, ready to go. But I leave them in the incubator. There's something about the higher temp where they come out a little more geared and ready to go. Because I pulled these guys out, that clutch, and they shed out in my rack, and none of the whole clutch wanted to eat. It's the first time I've experienced that all season, and that's the first time I've done it. So.
Hey, Mission Morphs, don't let everybody know the secret yet. We doing a little bit of that over here. Don't tell everybody yet. So you want to bring
hidden gene Woma and Bambino could be kind of crazy. I've seen some pretty nuts hidden gene Woma combos, so I wouldn't put it past that gene. That's not one I would rule out. I wouldn't call it muddy.
They steer clear of it because of the super issue, you know, and
well,
I don't get it. There's several genes that have, you know, super issues, but that hidden
the
gene
whole that whole complex, the spider complex,
Spider complex.
Whole complex, you know, and
exactly.
I'll say that I've seen some that aren't, but then I've seen some that are. So, you know, we can't.
But be honest, like that complex to me, you know, barring any recessives and stuff like that, that's one of the coolest complexes. Spider is cool. It really is cool. If I was looking for a pet animal, I would not shy away from getting a spider. I think
No,
it's cool.
spot nose, chocolate, blackhead, Wookie.
Coolest combo.
It's all cool.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that whole complex.
Yeah.
That's why they wobble, because they're so damn cool when you start doubling up. The snake can't handle that much cool. You know? That's all it is.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's say we had to make an imaginary hierarchy for your genes, right? And right off the bat, we talked about Bambino. We're going to X that off the list. We talked about Mandarin. We're going to X that off the list. So if we're talking about incomplete dominant genes, what will be next
Chocolate.
for your top? Chocolate? Wow.
Chocolate. I love chocolate.
He said chocolate a lot today.
Yeah, I love.
I've got
that's another one of those genes that I've got a lot of chocolate. You know, so I've never made a super chocolate yet, but it's something that I will like to. I've done chocolate spot nose. I've done chocolate cypress, and those came out really nice. But down the road, I like chocolate and everything. I'll double up on chocolate eventually. But no, dude, chocolate's one of my
listen, this is the first time that I've said this. I love chocolate. I have a bunch of chocolate stuff. I have yet to produce anything super chocolate yet. I'm still going to continue to work with it, and pretty deep with it. But man, Wookie is not the same, nowhere near the same. And Super Wookie,
no, not at all.
Are insane. I'm like over the moon with Wookie right now. You know,
and I've got to pick some up because I can't speak on Wookie, but I will say on the outside looking in is I know chocolate, and I'll tell you they ain't the same. You know, I don't know Wookie, but I know chocolate, and I've seen some absolutely nutty stuff done with Wookie. It's just one of those genes that I slept on pretty hard. So blackhead actually was one of those genes too. I slept on blackhead pretty hard, and about 2 years ago, I picked up like 20-something breeder female blackhead combos, like blackhead hypo combos, just because I had some ideas for it. You know, I wanted to stick it with some Mandarin, and then I work hypo zebra stuff a little bit. So I had some goal animals in mind. So I picked up like 20 or 23, I think is what it was, combo blackhead hypo females. So I made amends since then. I'm still working on cranking out some cool combos with it, but I've since fixed that wrong. Wookie's next.
Yeah, Wookie is
super chocolate hypo looks good too.
Oh, it's nuts.
You know what's weird?
That whole complex, I love. They look so good. Even the chocolate spot nose hypo, incredible. So
since day one of getting into ball pythons, you know, we all talk about the different trends, and I believe in the trends. You know, it's impossible to really chase it, or I think it's impossible to chase the trends, meaning, something's hot now and you start buying pieces and breeding for it. By the time you're producing it, it's long gone.
It's gone.
Passed up. But one thing that's been hot since the very first snake that we picked up here has been blackhead. I don't think there's been an off moment in the last 3 years where people didn't think blackhead was hot, and it still isn't like everywhere. You have it in a combo here, combo there.
It looks killer and clown. I don't get it. It looks killer.
I'm surprised. I'm really shocked. I would have thought, especially in the last 2 years, I would have thought that people, because there's a lot of people that got blackhead breeders just in their tubs. I'm just surprised it haven't really blown up or out of control.
I mean, you could for the longest time go out and pick up some of these girls. Maybe not the clowns, that'd be a little bit more expensive, but you wanted some blackhead hypo stuff. They're $300-400 females. For what reason? I don't know. Because I could take one of those females and make an $8,000-9,000 snake. So I mean, I don't get it. You know, I have. You know, one of those ones that kicked out was a pastel Mandarin blackhead hypo, and you know that boy was nuts. He came out orange. You know, so it's just one of those slip-on genes, especially nowadays, throwing all the dark genes in with the light stuff between the ultra male, you know, monarch. So being able to do all that, the desert ghost aspect, but being able to take these dark genes and throw kind of a lighter aspect to them. So.
Oh man, Jose, you got to send that, inbox it to me. I'll check it out.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Blackhead's
I love everything. Blackhead. I love everything. I probably have seen it.
And I don't see enough
$5,000
blackhead stuff, but I definitely don't see enough allelic blackhead combos,
Oh,
like blackhead spot nose, blackhead cypress.
Now you talk to my language.
So.
Well, you know, there's a lot of talk about allelics. And some of it is negative, and I understand the negative thought, but I feel like you have to kind of start somewhere, right? So it's like, if you, in my opinion, if you starting with, two genes that are allelic that you enjoy, like the whole blackhead complex, then if you already have it in a recessive, whether that allelic combo is het or visual, man, it's, for me, I understand the way it breaks down scientifically, but it's like a double super at that point, because it's an act like super. So to me, it gives you so much firepower in what you're going to breed it to. You're not saying, oh, well, this is just, the end result. No, this is going to get you to where you want to go faster, to me. So I don't know.
And when so much boils down to odds, you can't tell me that a little bit of guaranteed stuff isn't nice. As nice as that guaranteed het from a visual is, so is that guaranteed chocolate from a super. It's cool. Same thing. My super Mandarin hypo boy. That's my breeder Mandarin boy. Is super Mandarin hypo. I'll tell you, I love that super form. So there's been some stuff that I've hatched out that is not visual hypo, that out of the egg has been kind of subtle,
right?
But then I can guarantee it's there because of the super, and then you give it 200 grams and then it colors up and you're like, okay. Or you compare it to something else, like I did a pastel Mojave with the Mandarin, and it was head hypo, and out of the egg it looked just like a pastave to me. And then I actually had another pastave to compare it to, and it was day and night difference. The Mandarin was a lot more spaced out, had a more rusty hue, but just looking at that, sure, subtle, but then comparing it to the other one, not so subtle.
Now if you're building a project, I kind of again know your answer to this because we just heard your story with Bambino. But if you're building a project, is it always going to be more important for you to get that male right out the gate versus that female, or is there any other situations where that would change?
Yeah, so especially a project, like the only benefit, well, the females, if you're doing a recessive project, you have to have the females. And same thing if you're chasing supers, because it's the same odds. You have to have the females. Now, that being said, I'm more of a, with Bambino at least, is kind of a less is more. So the super form looks good, but it's not, I think the single form does the trick with Bambino.
Yeah.
So I'm more of a kind of get my boys and spread it into the projects with the other genes that I want. But yes, 9 times out of 10, if you're looking to progress a project, instantaneously, like within the next year or so, it's a boy. Now, that being said, the sweet spot is when you have the nice girls meeting up with the nice boys, and then that's where you're making the stuff that the world ain't ever seen before, is when you have firepower on both sides. Stud boys can make a lot of stuff make sense, but you have to have fire on both sides to make the really, really cool stuff.
I love hearing that. That's an awesome explanation. You actually explain that a lot better than I can. I feel like sometimes my brain be moving way faster than my mouth, but being new and trying to get into this lane and trying to gain so much information and education from other people who have done it before us, some of the stuff that we have to absorb is not being spoken, and that's one of the hardest pieces of information to communicate. It's like, okay, you want to have these, because in this hobby, your females are typically going to be more money on average versus than your males. And that's for a good reason, because a lot of the time you want a cutting edge male. You want to, and whatever cutting edge is for you, you want that cutting edge male. And you need females because you can't have a male breeding by himself. So you're going to need decent level females as much as you can afford or locate, because some stuff you may be able to afford, but they're just not available. So when you start there, you're going to want to produce your female holdbacks and typically every few years buy your males. That way you'll have your females raising up. You'll have a healthy, good stock, a bunch of holdback stuff that you can't buy in your tubs, ready to breed for these breakthrough males, because a lot of people aren't selling these insane females. They're not. They're not letting them back.
Yeah. So a good example would be like the ultra male puzzle stuff. Everybody loves that right now. 30, 40, $50,000 for a male ultra male puzzle sounds crazy unless you got 10 to 15 double het or visual hets and stuff. Unless you got a bunch of like a half a rack or a rack full of girls, it sounds crazy, you know. So, but it's one of those things that you have to get in at the point you invest in what you're comfortable with, and then same thing. Also, in the time we're in, don't be scared that like you can make your girls too, but if you end up with some shitty odds, don't be scared to go buy something, you know, especially with the way the market is nowadays. You can get so much just absolute firepower for cheap, pennies on the dollar. You know, you can upgrade stuff that you're still breeding for pennies on the dollar. You know,
right
and
now.
I haven't heard too much of people that they're just complaining that the market's soft and they're not selling a bunch, but I mean, I don't know. I've been still selling a few, but I've also been buying like crazy right now, guys.
Yeah.
That's another thing I've been doing.
You
have
want to
to.
pick
You
up whatever you didn't hit the season before
Exactly.
right
You have
now,
to.
because in a few years it's going to be gold, and the prices of the things will go up. It takes a little bit of time, you know, because even just example, like when I got in 2011, right? There was they were doing auctions when I was getting in, right?
Yeah.
People were upset then. A lot of people were getting out at that time. A lot of new people were coming in because they're like, "Oh, I could get this and this," you know, and just seeing that. The market started coming back by 2015, 16. It just took a little bit of time. 17 went up a little bit higher, and then so far, and this is where we're at. We hit COVID. Now we hit that downturn.
Mm-hmm.
It will come back. So jump in, and you're gonna have those new people getting in that want what you already have, because you'll be
and
producing.
it's one of those things. If you're not progressing your stuff now, or if you're not hitting the holdbacks or buying the stuff to hold back, I've seen some of these new people hitting insane stuff. You know, because they're getting in at this time right now and they're buying just absolutely nuts animals for pennies on the dollar. And then you see first clutches come out hitting like a super vanilla, you know, OD puzzles and stuff like that, which, you know, my first clutch was a spider boy bred to a black pastel. You know, he was like a 7-gene spider boy bred to a black pastel. So,
hey, but you had to start somewhere, right?
oh, I mean, I would have much rather, granted it went good, but I would have much rather messed that up than something like what I just said. So,
hey, Mission hit the nail right on the head. And a lot of people don't know how to separate, you know, yes, this is fun. It really is. But I would think that everybody would agree that things would be much more fun if you're profitable, if you're making money, if you're hitting combos you're shooting for. That makes it fun as well. So people don't know how to separate it, you know, okay, let's make it. And again, I don't want to dismiss it. They are living and breathing animals. They need to be cared for. This is what we're all doing. But they come in different paint jobs. You're going to have a favorite color. There's certain things that you're going to want to work with. And that kind of hits the nail right on the head. It's like treating it like the stock market, you know, and what you're going to pick and choose to invest in, what you're going to ride out through the flows. And I love that statement because it's exactly that. You need to pick your poison when you're getting into this. You really do. You really do.
I still get excited when I see them lock. When I see an ovulation, when I have eggs, like it's
bro, I didn't post it. I just got a lock today. I got the super inchy, super orange dream, leopard, hypopod, het ultra male, and he's locked up to his daughter, which is super inchy, orange dream, leopard, ultra male pod, het hypo.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I was ready to do backflips out there. So that's the first lock. So I'm like, I hope that goes, you know, and I'm looking for some holdbacks on that. I need some
triples. See, and that's refreshing, man, because you see, I mean, nowadays, there's, again, I agree. We can all, there's so much to be upset and sad about, sure, or whatever. Right. Or you can get focused, again, back to the root of the passion. Every little thing is exciting. The locks, getting eggs, you know, again, just getting the male up to size. Hell, even just getting that new boy or that new hatchling to take its first meal, see a couple 100 grams on it, whatever it is, there's always something to be excited about. And that's what I think the hobby just overall should focus on, is just the fun aspects of it.
I see now. I'm gonna have deeper conversation with Mission. They are such good people. You have you met them yet, Darren? You got to meet up with
No,
them.
I
They're
haven't.
real people, really, really genuine people. But that's another topic they made. Like
Yeah.
whatever is someone's investment level, whatever you're willing to spend on your hobby, your business, that's on you. But I do feel that, getting into some of those pricier projects, like you are with Bambino, like some of the Mandarin stuff that's out there, you can really differentiate yourself when you do have stuff for sale, when you do have byproduct for sale. It allows you to get some of your investment money back, whether you want to reinvest it or not. So if you're spending $5,000 on an animal, don't go into it with the mindset of I'm gonna spend this. This is an investment that I'm gonna get back next year, because it don't work that way.
No.
Have your 3,
It
5 year
can,
plan.
but then it'll boil
It
back
can,
down to, do you have the girls to capitalize off these boys, or are you in the
right?
position like
Girls.
this year I am with Bambino, to where I'm trying to spread it around? I'm trying to make my
Exactly.
girls, my boys, the this
Yes.
and that, to where I can make the cool combos.
Yes. Yes. It's so important. So important to get this communication and information out there so people can absorb it, because there's so many challenges already with breeding ball python. So hearing your story on how you're pushing the envelope on certain combos is very interesting to me, because it also tells me that, all right, you know what, I'm on the right path. Keep doing what I'm doing. It's working, but there's other people that need to hear it as well. Don't go and break the bank if that's not your goal.
Mm-mm.
We're not telling you to go spend money blindly, but
Nope.
you can enter this thing at all levels. And this goes for the people with the $200 snake, the $500 snake. Long as you have a game plan. I wrote up a brief kind of analogy, a game plan on if purchase a $300 snake and it's widely available. Start thinking about what other genes are out there, search your morph market, war the ball python, seeing what combos have been hit and what hasn't, what you want to see that turn into, and having a game plan where you can develop over the years the progression of you keeping and developing your skills and chasing the path that nobody is going down, your own lane, where you didn't necessarily break the bank right out the gate. You got to be creative, because I see the people all the time, and whether you're vending or online, it doesn't matter. If you have one particular snake that this year there's only 100 that are available, and every person you sell one to potentially will be breeding it within a year and a half to 2 years. Where do you think you're going to be in 8 years if you're still just producing that?
Yes,
You're not
in
going
the
to
same
have
position
the
they
same
are.
amount.
When you buy that animal, if you're looking to recreate that animal, you've lost. Like I
Right.
Yeah.
hate to be the
Well,
bearer of bad news, but if you buy something and your sole goal is to recreate that animal, you've lost.
Right.
So
alrighty. Well,
it's just
that
what,
was
if that's your MO. If you just think it's pretty and you want to make it, it's all a win. But if you're trying to progress it and your whole goal is to just, like, for example, I was going to do super Mandarin. I had the hypo Mandarin female this year that made my Bambino Mandarin head hypos. And I could have just as easily put the super Mandarin hypo to the Mandarin hypo. And financially, that makes sense any day of the week. You know what I'm saying? But instead of doing something like that, I'm thinking long term, and then well, granted, I guess anything Bambino's not a bad thing to do right now, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to think long term, where it wasn't the money on the brain wasn't the thing. I wasn't, because that's what really got my kicker was I could make more super Mandarin hypos, and I was like, I could make more super Mandarin hypos, and I just didn't like the way it sit, because then I thought,
No.
well, I'd get Bambino in there. There's not another person on God's green earth that's got Bambino and Mandarin together in the same animal, so
Right.
that's the route we go.
You
Right.
have to. I mean, you got to think it was the old school way of looking at it. When they got an incomplete dominant, okay, let's make a bunch of more incomplete dominants, then we'll sell that. Then the value of that drops. Let's find something else. Then it went from let's make it into stacked incomplete dominance. Okay, now the market fell on that. Now let's add recessives. Now we're stacking on top of the recessive. Now it's like, okay, let's add double recessives because that market already dropped, and we're just going in different stages and cycles, watching what everybody did before us, and
Yes.
how can I better that? So
It's
we're
all the
just keep
base
going.
forms, though. Keep that in mind. It's
Yes.
all the base form. DG
Mhm.
Clown tanked, but it was the base DG Clown. I can
Yep.
still go out today and find an $8,000 to $10,000 DG Clown combo.
Yep.
Yeah, you can still
Depending
do
on what's
that.
in it. Yeah. Yep.
I hate to say it because I love the snake, but the DG VPI Clown will do the same thing if you're chasing the base form. I know everybody and their mama is working that project right now. So if you're chasing the base triple, unfortunately, that's going to come down too. It's not going to be a $30,000 snake
Nope.
forever, you know. But if you throw, you know, a Stranger Confusion spot nose DG VPI Clown, 3-5 years from now, that's still an incredibly valuable snake. You know, so it's all about what you do with it along the ride. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with clowning around. I understand too, but you want to also make sure that your threshold is at a decent level. What he was meaning was talking about, you know, when you produce several clutches, maybe similar combos. It depends on where you are. Even the Bambino gene, like, yeah, if you had 10 clutches of Bambino clutches, oh man, you're gonna kill it right now. But compare that to now and having 10 clutches of Pos Het Stranger, you know, 1 or 2 gene Stranger clutches is not, there's no driving motivation for someone to come and get that from you at those prices for it to make it make sense. Now you start throwing some combinations in there, you know, 4 or 5 genes, some, you know, recessives in there, then yeah, that's definitely, but you need to focus more so primarily on what you want to create. Maybe whether you can't go buy it because it's not available, or you can't go buy it because you choose to not spend the dollar amount that you need to spend to go get it. You know, I think we need to consider some of those motivational factors when building these projects. And I think overall we'll be really, really successful at it. And again, I don't want people to shy away from some of the simpler combos, because I do think that there's a pet level snake that just looks good to the eye, and that's awesome. I just feel that, and it's an opinion, I just feel that if you're choosing to do it as a business, I don't think you can get very far chasing that. You know, and again, it feels like I kind of give it a bad eye because we produced one this season. Feels like every season we produce one. But Bell, beautiful snake, and they sell at shows, they sell online. But I've literally sat here, and in 3 years, I watched the price points drop on them, and that's not a bad thing. It's just you have more people producing them. Go back to that analogy. If you're a vendor, you got 100. And you're moving them at $300 a pop, and you're selling out for that entire season. You do the same thing the next season. Around the 4th and 5th season, I can almost promise you're not going to do the same revenue. You can keep producing them all you want, but you're going to have people that are also now producing them. And the reason that you're not going to be able to move all of your inventory is because it is a natural human response that Walmart, everybody here listening have heard of Walmart. They know of Walmart. But when you see ABC Supply Store, nobody's ever heard, and they're selling the same exact thing, the best way that they're going to compete is they're going to cut the price. So once they cut the price, Walmart is now going to have a surplus of animals, because you're still going to sell, but you're not going to sell at the rate that you did, if that all makes sense.
Yeah, and you know, the high-end
remember,
stuff, I do like to say that the nice snakes almost sell themselves. You know, you make the really incredible stuff, they sell themselves. But throughout the whole thing of, you know, also why it's so important to establish a brand, build a brand, get out to these shows and meet the people and stuff like that, because it's not necessarily about your 4, 5, 6, 7 nice snakes you make a year that would sell themselves, because you're probably going to keep those anyways, right? It's about everything else. You know, it's about everything else that you make that you can't keep, that would do somebody else really, really good. But if there's, you know, 50 breeders with the same snake. Why would I buy off of you? You know, that's what you have to ask yourself. Why would somebody come and buy a snake off of me if I got the same thing as everybody else? You know, so you can do it one of two ways. You can either be the cheapest, which I don't like ever. I don't like getting that pissing match, or you just try to rewind it a bit. And when you're making this stuff, try to do it a little bit different, you know? So even if you're making bananas, oh, maybe they're a het puzzle. You know, if I'm making blue-eyed Lucy's, maybe they're het exanthic or double het DG cryptic, you know, just a little extra spice to it. And then you got to get out there. You got to meet people, stay active, you know, get in front of people, because it's not necessarily going to be breeders buying them. But if you ain't giving yourself a shot, I've even had people come up and buy pets and talk about seeing me on YouTube or something like that. You know, people getting into the hobby, first thing they do is they hop on YouTube and they just look up videos of all of us. What do we all do? How are we doing things? So
just said that, especially now in this day and age. And, you know, I talk with Limey, you know, he's one of these big old time breeders, and I love him to death. And it's like, man, I can only imagine being back in the day, you know, the Ozzies and, you know, even when the Justins and all those guys were coming about, things have just changed so drastically, you know, just from what I'm seeing now compared to what I hear them talk about, you know. And again, Limey is a buddy of ours, and it started off meeting him at a rally Repticon show. And going over, and we bought snakes from him when my daughter really got us into it. And you know, hearing how watching his table and how he goes, and watching someone be a full-time breeder, don't for the most part do anything really online. He's only vending shows, his shows at that. He's not trying to expand. For the most part, only taking cash in the hand at table and still be successful. Man,
on taxes, you know how it be.
Man, but do you know how much of a flop that I'll speak for ourselves. There is no way we could do that. As flawless, I can't speak for anybody. There's no way. If you come out the gate, no brand, and you know, I don't care the best snakes you're trying to get out there and get, and you're not even going to go online, and you're going to only vend shows, produce your snakes, and only take cash, you're going to flop. I'm going to flop. There's no way I'm going to
people, man. I know I would. It's one of those. I don't care. I've got everything for a reason. You want to cash at me, Venmo, PayPal, whatever we got. And we're paying taxes. I'm paying taxes on it. They're like, oh, we can deal with that later. I'm paying taxes. I'm good. I'm paying taxes. And they're like, what? You don't want to? No, I'm paying taxes. I don't want to play any of those games, man, at all. But you know, again, trying to lay this groundwork for everybody to kind of see what they can do in this lane, and telling them, you know, like how you are right now with Bambino, bro. You said you can't even produce enough. You know, you got to tell people no because of the stuff that you're creating. That's a form of marketing and advertisement in and of itself. Having a demand on your side at this moment because of, you know, the necessity of the gene. And yes, you can post. Yes, you don't have to be as hardcore as, you know, 4 or 5 posts a week, you know, going live. You don't have to do a lot of that stuff. But when you have someone saying, I want this gene, let me see who has it. Oh, man, he has it. He's in the States. All right, I can call him. I can message him. I feel real comfortable. I see his, you know, his work ethic online. I see his brand and what he stands for. And he just told me, hit him back in 2 months. He should have something. That's promising for me. You know, versus there's nobody here to get it from and maybe jump through the hoops that you had to jump through to import it in on yourself. I think it's promising to see where we're going as a whole. Let's see. The homie Vinny is in the booth. So let's see some of those Bambinos. Yeah, I'll start off with something simple, and then I'll grab. Well, I don't have just a straight Bambino. Yeah, I got the girl. She's a Bambino. Give me 1 second. I'll show her off, and then we'll spice it up a little bit.
Perfect. So we'll go solo on the screen for a little bit for everybody that's watching. We had some technical difficulties as far as on the camera. We have to do it in portrait mode for now. So we'll try to give him the screen to himself.
Oh, okay. I'm going to try to flip her around real quick and see.
Okay. See if we can do it.
Do it to it.
Let's see, back camera. Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I think I had the perfect male for her.
So this is basically just your base form Bambino.
And that is great by itself. You know what you're looking at. If that pops out, oh, okay, you can identify that. You wouldn't have a problem. That's not a maybe.
100%. You know, it's not subtle. It's nothing that you have to guess about. So I'm gonna be utilizing shed testing a lot just to solidify the rest of the ID. But there's never any guess in Bambino. Like if it's there, it's there.
Right. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And there's no way that you know that there's no other hats in there whatsoever. No clown, no
not that
hats
girl. No, not that girl. That's the original girl I imported in.
Okay. Beautiful.
And then next up, I'll grab a Bambino Phantom Yellow Belly.
It's good equivalent of going to the strip club. Oh god. Yes, it's definitely suspenseful. Oh gosh.
So look at that. That's just yellow belly.
Bambino Phantom Yellow Belly.
A phantom yellow belly.
Jeez.
That's crazy. Looks so good.
And then the next one I'll show, it's with pinstripes. So we talk about muddy jeans. So this is not necessarily like a direction that I would have took it, but it's an animal that I bought in basically. One second.
No problem. That thing is wow, man.
So this right here is Bambino pinstripe.
Yeah, it was kind of overpowering.
Pinstripe is, but it's absolutely obliterated pinstripe. Like it's just dotted
you can see
it out.
in it.
It's interesting. It's not the same, but it's similar to Stranger Pin.
Yeah, it also looks very monsoony as well.
Yeah.
Well, here, give me 2 seconds. I'll show you this in a monsoon side by side.
Oh shoot! Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yeah. It's just, the monsoon just looks like it has yellow belly in it.
Just I got a slightly different color.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh damn.
Oh, he was neat.
Yeah. The monsoons.
Oh yeah, she's a little a-hole, but she eats good.
That's the whole
Is
point.
it
That's all we care about.
Great monsoons. Nothing else in there.
And then here's my little coup de grace male. So this was, if I get nothing else for the rest of the year, this was my goal animal all season.
Oh man. What do we have there?
That's the Mandarin Bambino head hypo.
That thing is bright.
But his blacks, like in the pattern, are like black. That's he's got like these weird, like little horned stamp pattern on the side of his head. He's a pretty boy.
I like that.
Yeah, I took him to Tinley, and of course he was in deep shed. So if you saw him at Tinley, he apologizes. He wasn't looking his best, but he's doing good now.
Yeah, I saw him at Tinley.
I didn't even get a chance to see him at Tinley. We were so crazy. I'm mad now.
Dude, I don't blame you, man. It was a great weekend, but it just flies by.
Yeah.
And then I'll actually get the daddy out too. We can see the original Bambino Hurricane Boy.
Oh.
Yeah, the Bambino Hurricane is crazy. That's the one. When he's seen it, he's like, I gotta get this one. That's it. But that is nice. I like it. Yeah.
You can really see like down his neck, the hurricane really start to come into play. Let's see if we'll flip him around. Like right in there.
Yep. You see that the muscles
yeah.
flex.
Wow. Dang. Do you know how many Hurricane Bambinos there have been? Is it just yours and someone else?
And his brother. He made two
Okay.
of them, and that's the only time it's been. Well, I made a female, so I did sell a female.
Gotcha. Dang.
Oh shit! There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that boy right there. He's
Yeah.
Golly. Wow. Man, oh man.
I'm telling you.
Jeez, everybody said the same thing. Wow.
Like the choice of
and I
that, the
got
cosmos.
one more I'll show off real quick. This is
please do.
the latest little boy I hatched out. He's the Bambino Black Pastel Hurricane. Let me grab that little boy. He took a minute to kick on to eating. He's eating now, but he's still a small little boy. I'll go grab him there.
Yeah. That's
Perfect.
See if he'll
Oh wow.
cooperate, be a little donut for me.
yeah, black pastel.
Jeez, that thing
The
is
same
sick.
thing. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the way he's looking at me. You may see me get tagged right in the nose.
It makes for good
But
content.
I don't know about you. So I'm shed testing them out just to double check. But just like I said, I want to be 100% on my IDs. I don't question the hurricane, but just to be sure, I'm shed testing it.
Yeah, I
He
see
came
the
out
big
really,
flex.
really nice. And it's funny because, like I said, even the simple combos like that, like a gene like Black Pastel, which has been around since a long time, you know,
Right.
Throwing that with Bambino, it's never been done before. So that was granted with the hurricane made them extra fun, but Bambino Black Pastel, that was a first. But that's the cool thing. I mean, with the newer gene, if it hasn't been super heavily worked, just about everything you do with it's a world first. So I mean, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
still as fun, you know.
I mean, yeah, it is because you can still say I did it first.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
100%. When everybody starts getting their hands on it and doing cool stuff, just remember I did it first.
yeah, that's it. Like I already did that. Let it be known.
Man.
I remember when Jason did the banana GHI was crazy. Everybody was just like all over it, but he was the
Banana
first one to
hasn't
do
been
it.
done with Bambino either, so that's going to be one that I have a stacked spot nose Bambino het clown girl, or not banana spot nose het clown girl, and I'm going to throw Bambino on that to see some Bambino banana hurricane spot nose
See how that
stuff.
look. Yeah, yeah.
Dang.
I want to see what that looks like. And he
You and
has he
me
taken
both,
it to
man.
GHI?
I dream about some of this stuff, like the Mandarin boy. I dreamed about that, and he popped out, and it was better than in my dreams. So, like the next step, I don't know, man. I lose sleep at night over this stuff. It's bad.
Has anybody taken it to GHI yet?
So I will say though, Bambino and Cosmos, tons of similarities. After Tinley, I was able to compare base gene to base gene, and I don't think there's the same gene. I don't. Similar, sure. Past that, I don't know. There's a different, like their Bambino's a little darker. They're both really expressive, but the overall color palettes just aren't the same. And the expressiveness, Bambino has a lot more of a dorsal, it seems, compared to Cosmos, which is a little bit more sporadic on the dorsal. Between the overall color and the pattern differences, I wouldn't say they're the same. But I've seen the Cosmos GHI, and I wasn't they seem to fight too terribly much. So I don't know. I will
Have
try
you
to see
seen-
Bambino and GHI together, but after seeing what Cosmos and GHI did together, I'm not
what
really
about
hopeful.
Malice? Have you seen that?
So I actually was able to compare all three of them at the same exact time,
Oh wow.
That being said, I love the look. All those plus Tornado, I love all that look. I don't think any of them are the same. I don't think
Okay.
Malice is Cosmos is Bambino. I don't think any of them are the same. I think they're their own genes.
Hmm.
I don't
Jeez.
think Cosmos is either. I think I seen the Cosmo pinstripe, and it doesn't look like the same as yours at
Mm-mm.
all.
No, and the base Cosmos didn't look like the base Bambino. So I had a little girl Cosmos there, or Bambino at the show, and we compared it with a little girl Cosmos, just straight Cosmos, and I don't think they're the same. I don't. Now, that being said, at that level of stuff, whether it be the Malice, the Bambino, the Cosmos, whatever it is, you got to buy into what you like, and like I said, you have to have a plan for it originally. So granted, I like all of them. And at a certain point, I will have all of them. I'm going to have Malice. I'm going to have Bambino, and I'm going to have Cosmos. I'm going to have a full input on it. I want to work all
Yeah.
three because that's the look I like,
I
but
wonder
past that, you
what
just
would
have
all
to.
three look like right
Yeah,
now.
throw them all three together. There ain't no telling, because I like my snakes to look like they crawled out of the pits of hell. So if you
Yeah.
throw all three of them together, I'm sure that's creeping upon that realm. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's wrap it up with what's one bit of advice that you would give to a new breeder that can't break the bank, but their passion is here and they're wanting to start with ball pythons? What angle would you give them to kind of getting in?
develop the relationships. So if you get in and financially you can't get in at a high ticket route, because the thing is you can reach out to, there's plenty of good people in this industry. And that being said, if you reach out, you're an attentive person, you have good intentions, you have a thirst for knowledge, you care to do it right. I know myself included, both the guys on this panel and tons of other people in this industry that are going to take care of those people. So
Absolutely.
granted, it may not be a thing where you can get in at the highest route now, but whenever the time does come, you can develop some relationships, and whenever those people are going to take care of you. So like I said, you may not be able to pony out $10,000 today, but in a little bit, maybe they can hook you up on a $4,000, $5,000 animal that's going to elevate your game on a payment plan or something. There's so many things that there's so many avenues that you could take. But my best piece of advice is, if you have a plan, you have the passion, and that's there, you know how to take care of the animals, and you see some longevity in one of these projects, make it happen. That's the only piece of advice. Whether you got to pick up extra shift, a side gig, DoorDash a little bit, and all that stuff, because you do not need to take away from yourself or your family's livelihood.
Yes.
And past that, you invest at the highest level you can. And you can do a little bit more. If you want a little bit more, do a little bit more, and invest at the highest level you're comfortable with without taking away anything from you and your family, and work it. Just get it done. That's the easiest piece of advice. If you want to get into Cosmos, Bambino, any of these high-end Tornado, get it done. If you want to buy that stranger double visual boy, the hypo clown stranger boy, do it. If you have a plan for it, get it done. That's my best piece of advice
Just
for it.
have a plan. Have a
Yep.
plan. So how can
That means
everybody
have
reach
the
you?
females. Have the females.
Yes, that's part of the
Yes.
plan. That's part of the plan. You
That's
got to
part
make
of the
sure.
plan.
That's
You
the
How
know,
can
because
major
right now
part of
you
the
can get
plan.
crazy nice. There's no reason not to have girls. That's what I will
Please,
say.
please, yes.
You said
So
you could
how
turn
can
around and
everybody get in contact with you across all species, because you're doing more than just ball pythons? How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I do have Morph Market, of course. I am awful about staying up to date on my listings. Like, I'll update some stuff, and then like just reach out if you think it's something that like I may work or something. Bambino, hog nose, anything like that, feel free to reach out, because I'm terrible about listing stuff. But Instagram, I do have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that good jazz. But Instagram's probably going to be the best route. That Morph Market, I'll get the message directly. But if you just want to chat or anything like that, you know, if you're just gung ho, ready to pull the trigger, by all means, shoot me an inquiry on Morph Market. But past that, if you want to chat about an animal, projects I have going on, or you just want to chat in general, Instagram's going to be the best way to do that.
And I'm sure people are going to ask, do you currently have a wait list for anything Bambino?
Yes, so I have some dip between the Mandarin Boy and some of the other bits. I have some people waiting, and I mean, actually, some people overseas as well. Some Japanese and Korean clientele, and then some will be going back to Europe. It looks like in the near future as well. But as far as that goes, I don't have too terribly much left to go this year that I could let go of. Maybe one or two animals. That pinstripe boy may be available, stuff like that. Like I said, it was just I bought in a group of animals, and it may not be something that I'm willing to push down the road. You know, I just don't have a route for it. So now that being said, if it's a now or later type thing, just hit me up. You know, we'll get it done. I'm a pretty easy guy, so I'm working on putting the work in and getting the animals going and stuff. But it just takes a little bit of time. You know,
makes sense. Makes sense. Well, we appreciate having you on, man. Definitely appreciate you taking your time.
No,
definitely
it's been an honor. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh man, this can't be the last time. I'm anxious to see what you're gonna do next.
Yeah. We'll have to do it like a follow up or something, and then next
time. Oh no, we're gonna do a follow up. Don't worry.
Some Super Mandarin Bambino stuff. So
I will.
It'll be a little tier up.
Let's go. Let's go. Man. So everybody in the comment area, we really appreciate your viewership. Thank you guys so much hanging in there on this Sunday. Again, 15 minutes of lame contestant. Flawless, we up there. Gonna start that kind of rodeo going real soon. Who knows what we have up our sleeves for that. Join the membership here on the channel, and we will be back every 2 weeks with this show. You got some balls. And we appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And we are out.
See ya.